Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
An episode of Big Town, starring Edward Pauley in the role originated by Edward G. Robinson as crusading editor Steve Wilson of the Illustrated Press. This episode originally broadcast September 14th, 1948. The episode, Blind Justice.
Lifebuoy Health Soap presents Big Town.
Extra hero about blind justice. Steve Wilson's headline story, brought to you by Lifebuoy Health Soap, used in the homes of 40 million Americans. Extra.
Now, Big Town, and tonight's headline story of Blind Justice. The spirit of justice is personified in the figure of a woman, blindfold, armed with a sword of authority, and holding high the finely balanced scales of right and wrong. And Steve Wilson's story for tonight deals with just such a measure of good and evil, and had its beginning in an unpretentious house in a residential section of Big Town.
Yes, just a minute, please. I'm coming.
Hi, lady.
Oh, just a minute. I'll switch on the porch light for you.
Never mind turning on the light, lady. Where's Mike Barton?
In the parlor. Please come in.
No, thanks. Get him out here on the porch.
Who is it, Anna?
A man to see you, Mike. He won't come in.
Oh, who'd be wanting to see me at this time of night?
Hi, Barton.
Oh. Anna?
Yes, Mike. What's wrong?
Go in the parlor, Anna. Go in the parlor and close the door.
Oh, Mike. Not more trouble. Not more trouble, Mike.
Anna. Please go in the parlor and close the door.
All right, Mike. But don't let him make you lose your temper and do something you'll regret.
That's good advice, Barton. Who's the dame, your wife?
No, my sister. And I'll thank you not to be calling her a dame.
Okay, Barton. Pull in your horns and listen to what I got to tell you.
If you're from that chiseling outfit run by Knuckles Malone, I'll have none of your threats.
The big man's tired of sending little boys out to threaten you, Barton.
Then what have you come out here for?
To make with the last proposition.
Proposition, is it?
Yeah.
I'll hire none of Malone's cutthroats on any construction job I'm foreman of. And I'll not kick back any part of their pay to the likes of him, and you can tell him that.
That's your last word, Barton?
It's me very last word.
You said it. You said it.
Steve Wilson, Illustrated Press.
Steve, the Lorelei, your favorite crime reporter. Your hunch was right on that Mike Barton murder out here in Willowdale.
Good grief. The same Mike Barton who was beaten up by hoodlums here in Big Town last month, Lorelei?
Yeah, Steve. He was another construction foreman.
Well, that could mean Knuckles Malone and his building trades racket.
Yes, but try and prove it. There are no witnesses to the shooting who can identify the killer.
What about Barton's sister? Our local correspondent phoned. She was in the house at the time of the shooting.
He didn't have all the facts, Steve, and I'd rather not give them to you over the phone. Could you come out here before you make a move to pin this murder on Malone?
Of course, if you think it's important.
I think it's very important, Steve, but I can't explain on the phone. Make it as quick as you can.
Okay, Lorelei. What's the address?
The last and only house on Willow Lane. And please hurry.
We'll find it. I'll pick up Harry the Hack and be out there on the double.
Say, boss,
Say it, Harry.
How come we are hightailing it way out here into the sticks, practically?
Well, Miss Kilburn has run into something on the killing of a construction foreman who lived out here, Harry.
Uh-oh.
Watch for a turn into Willow Lane. Should be along here on the right.
Check, boss. Here it is.
Oh, good. Lorelei phoned. It was the house at the end of this lane, Harry.
Looks like it's the only house, which makes it a somewhat underdeveloped overdevelopment, if you get what I mean.
Yes. No wonder the local police couldn't find a single witness to the murder.
End of the lane, boss. And there's the house right under the trees.
Well, this must be it, Harry. There's Lorelei's press car standing in the drive.
Hey, you want for me to wait or haul back to Big Town?
You better wait a few minutes, Harry. I'm sure there's a Big Town angle on this killing, and I may need you to help check on it.
Okay, boss. Me and old Bess will be ready and rearing to go, to say nothing of my trusty monkey wrench.
Good. I'll be out in a few minutes. Huh. Strange. The local police hadn't left a man here to guard the house.
That you, Steve?
Oh, yes, Lorelei. Where's the local law?
They've taken Barton's body to headquarters and seem to think there's nothing more to do here. Come on in and I'll explain why I called you.
As I gathered, you couldn't talk over the phone.
I didn't want to frighten Mike Barton's sister, Steve.
Good grief. Did the police leave her here alone in this isolated house, knowing she's the only witness to a brutal gang slaying?
Yes, but you'll see why in a moment. But I think we should get her out of here.
Oh, definitely. And I can't understand the police leaving her unguarded if there's the slightest chance of her being able to identify the killer, Lorelei.
That's why, Steve. She can't identify the man who came to see Mike Barton and shot him to death on his own doorstep.
But over the phone, you said she opened the door, spoke to the man before her brother came out and asked her to go in the parlor.
Yes, Steve, but the catch is she...
Miss Kilburn, is that your Mr. Wilson?
Yes, Miss Barton. Now you'll get what I mean, Steve.
Won't you ask him to come into the parlor?
In just a minute. Would you mind getting your things and being ready to go?
Must I go, Miss Kilburn? I haven't been out of this house in many years. Is it really necessary?
Well, just for a few days, Miss Barton, until we can locate your other relatives.
Will I be able to come back for poor Mike's funeral?
Yes, of course. And now, if you'll just get your things, you can tell Mr. Wilson your story on the way to Big Town.
All right, Miss Kilburn, I'll go get me things.
Good heavens, Lorelei. Blind.
Yes, Steve. Completely blind. We know it, and the police know she can't possibly identify her brother's killer, but...
Yes, I didn't realize it at first. She doesn't look or act blind.
And that's why I think we ought to get her out of here, Steve.
Yes, she fooled me for a minute, and the killer may think she can identify him. Try to silence her if we get too close to the truth in trying to link Barton's murder to Knuckles Malone and his building trades racket.
Exactly. And I think we better get her to a safe place before we go after Malone.
Yes, Lorelei, your apartment couldn't be a better place.
Couldn't Harry take her there in his cab?
No, I want Harry to watch this house for the next few hours while I try to stir up a hornet's nest in Big Town.
What about me?
And I want you to stay with Miss Barton until I can give Knuckles Malone enough rope to hang himself for this crime.
Thus, Steve takes steps to protect the innocent before setting a trap for the guilty. And in a moment, we'll return for the swift-moving developments.
September 14th, 1948, Big Town on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You know, it's true. Difficult times have a way of focusing us. We have to think about what matters most when it comes to our spending, our health care. No doubt. This is why so many people are joining Medi-Share right now. Medi-Share is a trusted way to save up to 50% on your monthly health care costs. More than 400,000 people have already made the switch. It's pretty obvious why, too, especially now during this challenging season with healthcare costs and out-of-pocket expenses going up. Medi-Share can save you a lot of money. The typical family saves $500 a month. And Medi-Share is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that's worked beautifully for 29 years. There are different options to choose from to fit your budget. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Maybe now is the perfect time to make the switch and start saving. Here you go. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Big Town. Blind Justice, September 14th, 1948.
Now back to Big Town and Steve Wilson's timely and ironic story of blind justice. Fearing the racketeers behind the brutal gang killing of a construction foreman may not know the only possible witness against them is their victim's blind sister, Lorelei has taken Anna Barton to her apartment for safety, while Steve sets a trap for the killers. But meanwhile, in the warehouse offices of the so-called Big Town Supply Company...
Yeah, come in.
Hi, Knuckles. Spinny says you want to see me.
I'll say I do. Where you been all night?
Showing myself around the spots in case anybody starts asking about the blood out of that Barton dope.
You're the dope. Take a look at this story in the early edition of the Illustrated Press.
So what? Ain't that racket-busting Wilson been trying to pin something on you for months?
Yeah, and maybe this time he's got a chance.
How come?
Read the story, you dope, or maybe you're so dumb you can't read. Give me that rag. Now listen to this. Mike Barton's sister opened the door and the killer asked to see her brother, who came to the door, sent his sister into the parlor, and a moment later was shot to death.
All right, so what? Look, she didn't turn on the light, and I had my coat collar turned up, my hat pulled down. I tell you, the dame never got a good look at.
Maybe good enough for the cops to pick you up for her to identify.
Well, there ain't no description there in the
Now,
paper.
listen, stupid. The cops don't hand out everything they've got. And that guy Wilson don't print everything he knows.
All right. How about me blowing south for a while till Wilson and the cops get tired chasing themselves around in circles?
Like nothing. You're going to clean this thing up.
How?
You're going to get hold of that Barton dame and shut her mouth. Now, tonight.
Hey, now, wait a minute, Knuckles. That dumping Willowdale's liable to be crawling with cops.
You get back out there and case the layout. Watch for a chance to throw a slug through a window and get that lippy dame.
Well, suppose I get picked up.
Well, if you get picked up, you take the rap. And you try tying me to Barton's rub-out, and your old lady and your whole crummy family will end up in the drink. Now get out of here and clam that dame. Yeah, come in.
Hello, Malone.
Wilson, what do you want?
I just happened to be passing your warehouse, saw a light here in your office, and thought I'd drop in and see what's giving you insomnia.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. You mind if I sit down?
Yeah, I do mind. Beat it, Wilson. Go peddle your lousy Illustrated Press.
Well, the news we print takes care of that. I see you have a copy of our early edition. You find anything interesting?
Yeah, the comics. You and them hand me a laugh.
I wonder if you laugh when they strap you in the chair.
Now, listen, Wilson. You and your paper been trying to pin a racket rap on me for months, and I'm warning you, lay off.
How many times does the rattlesnake rattle before he strikes?
One of these days you're going to find out if you don't lay off me and my company.
Oh, yes, that's right. You're a company, not a gang.
Yeah.
Knuckles Malone, president. Ginny Lawson, treasurer, in charge of shakedowns. JoJo's secretary of kickbacks on material. A sales force of sluggers and muggers, and general manager of...
Now, listen, Wilson, you print that...
And you can sue the Illustrated Press. Now, don't you take your cases to court. Only to the morgue, like the body of Mike Barton.
Barton?
Yes, Mike Barton.
What do you think you've got, Wilson?
Well, frankly, what I think I have isn't half as important as what you think I might have.
Well, you ain't got a thing, or you wouldn't have come here without your pal Callahan, a homicide.
Well, if that's a comforting thought, make the most of it.
Get out of here, Wilson. You ain't needling me into nothing.
What's the matter, Malone? Are you worried about this rub-out after so many others? Worried about that witness who talked to your trigger boy?
I got nothing to worry about. I got plenty alibis.
Well, then relax. Quit watching that phone on your desk as if you expect it to ring any minute.
Beat it, Wilson. Beat it, or so help me.
Quit bluffing, Knuckles. I know all about you. You haven't used your fists on anyone since you cracked your knuckles, broke your hands on another foreman who wouldn't play your dirty game years ago.
Don't count on that, Wilson.
All right, start swinging.
Now, look.
I think I'd almost be willing to break my hands on you.
No, Wilson. You don't needle me into no assault rap.
I wouldn't be interested in anything that wouldn't put you away for life.
Well, keep after me, and maybe you'll get it.
You better answer your phone, Knuckles. Maybe important. This is your big night.
Yeah, maybe it's your big night. Yeah.
Knuckles, it's me, Trig.
Yeah.
The Barton dame's gone. House is closed up.
You sure?
Sure, I'm sure. And I got a notion the cops have got her on ice, and I better land.
I got a notion they ain't. And I got another notion. You better come back here and help me find out where that dame is.
How are we going to do that?
I got a guy right here in the office who talks like he knows something, and he's going to tell us.
Who you got?
That newspaper guy, Wilson. And I've got the notion he's crossing his cop pals for a scoop and knows where the Barton dame's hiding, if he ain't actually hid her himself.
What if he won't talk?
Well, if he ain't talked by the time you get here, we'll learn him how.
Okay. Give me 20 minutes to get there.
Get here and bring a blackjack.
Sorry, Malone. I don't think I care to wait for the treatment.
Hold it, Wilson. Hold it and sit down.
Oh. So now we come to guns.
Yeah. My knuckles may be busted, but my trigger finger is just itching to let you have a load of lead.
That wouldn't help you find Anna Barton?
No. But if you haven't spilled where you've got her before Trig and his blackjack get here, you're going to get a beating maybe you won't live to remember.
Miss Kilburn. Miss Kilburn?
Oh, Miss Barton. Try to get some sleep. It's 3:00.
Oh, I can't sleep, Miss Kilburn. I'm thinking about poor Mike and worrying about you and your nice Mr. Wilson. You've been so kind to let me stay here in your apartment.
Well, I'm glad you're here and not in that isolated house, but don't worry about Steve Wilson, Miss Barton. He can take care of himself. So, don't worry.
But you're worried. I heard you out here in the living room pacing up and down. You're mighty fond of him, aren't you?
Yes. Doggone it. Oh, that may be Steve. Steve?
Sorry, Miss Kilburn. It's only me, Harry the Hack.
Oh, Harry, well, have you heard from Steve?
No, I ain't, Miss Kilburn, but I got something you ought to know.
He went to see Knuckles Malone in the hope of needling him into showing his hand in this Barton killing.
Holy moly, maybe he's in the middle of something.
Well, what makes you think so, Harry?
Of course, I hung around that Barton guy's house in Willowdale like the boss said to do, see? And about an hour ago, a car stopped in a lane, and a guy cased the place and hauled to Big Town with me and judicious price shoot.
Where'd the man go in Big Town, Harry?
That is the fly in the ointment, Miss Kilburn. He hightailed it straight for that supply house on South Street that Malone uses as a front for his shakedown rackets.
Good heavens, and Steve may be there right now. Where are you, Harry?
Phoning from an all-night dog wagon about a block from the warehouse.
Harry, cruise around and see if my press car is parked in the neighborhood. Steve took it after he dropped Miss Barton and me here at my place.
Okay, Miss Kilburn. If I find a press car, we'll know the boss is probably in a warehouse and in a jam, which will require some assistance of a knocker nature.
No, now, wait a minute, Harry. Please don't crash into that rat's nest just armed with a monkey wrench. I'm calling Inspector Callahan, and I'll be down there on the double.
Come on, you slug. Where you got that Barton dame? Come on, Wilson, talk. Spill it or I'll slap you silly.
Go ahead. Hold it, Trig. Give him a minute to think it over. Rest your arm.
Don't worry, Knuckles. I can keep swinging on this slug all night.
I said hold it a minute. Now listen, Wilson.
I'm strapped to this chair. I don't have much choice.
I'll make a deal with you.
I'm listening. But if you're still offering your lip-chewing gunsel as the rap boy in the Barton killing, it's no go.
What's that? What's that double play?
Don't be a dope, Trig. He's trying to cross us up.
Sounds like you've been trying it on me.
Well, what do you expect?
What's the deal, Knuckles?
Relax, Trig. I was just going to give this dope a chance to get out of this jam alive. But since he's tried to cross us up, I changed my mind. Go ahead and beat it out of him. He's good, but he can't take much more.
Okay. But don't get no ideas of selling me out, Knuckles. All right, straighten him up in that chair and let me go to work.
Lay over the boss, you sap-slinging slug!
Thanks, but watch it, Harry. Malone has a gun.
Yeah, Hacky. You swing that wrench on me and I'll tear you open with every slug in this rod.
Uh-oh. Sorry, boss. I guess I picked the wrong pigeon first.
It was a nice try, Harry, but don't risk a repeat performance on Malone. You better drop the wrench.
Oh, no. Wait a minute, Hacky. You knocked out my boy just when I needed him to do a little beating job on Wilson.
Mister, you are positively breaking our hearts, is he not, boss?
Lay off the gags and listen to me, Hacky.
Well, go ahead and talk, Malone. Mr. Wilson and me has got more time to spare than you got.
Meaning what?
Meaning Harry trails your stupid gunsel here and doesn't make a habit of crashing a rat's nest without inviting the police in for the showdown.
Check and double check, boss.
Well, in that case, we ain't got much time, so you're taking my boy's place. Now get to work on Wilson with that monkey wrench you're so handy with. Go on, Hacky. Slug him until he talks.
Edward G. Robinson was Steve Wilson from 1937 to 1942. Edward Pauley played the role from 1943 to 1952. Big Town from September 14th, 1948. The conclusion next on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Veterinary telemedicine is booming. Hi, I'm Dr. Lori Teller, president of the American Veterinary Medical Association, and I know firsthand that telehealth is a valuable tool to help provide our precious pets with the health care they need and deserve. Here are some situations where telemedicine may be an option for you and your pet. If the veterinarian has seen your pet in person in the past. If you're not sure you need to schedule an in-person visit. If your pet had surgery and needs post-operative follow-up. For skin diseases and rash rechecks. When your veterinarian needs to monitor your pet's chronic problems such as diabetes or allergies. If there are behavioral issues or training challenges, or for hospice care. It's always good to have your session in a quiet place with good lighting. If you're not sure if you should set up a telehealth session, call your veterinarian and they'll let you know. To learn more, check out avma.org/telehealth. avma.org/telehealth.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Big Town, September 14th, 1948, Blind Justice.
Now back to Big Town, and to Steve Wilson and Harry the Hack as they face a showdown with a killer in tonight's story of Blind Justice.
Go on, Hacky. Work on Wilson with that monkey wrench until he talks.
Well, look, Malone, if you would leave me elucidate,
You better go ahead, Harry. Malone is getting nervous. He's listening for the sound of a squad car siren.
Yeah? Well, I still got a notion you crossed your cops' pals on this deal to get a scoop for your lousy illustrated press, Wilson.
Well, that same notion has sent smarter killers than you when your guns will trig to the chair.
Clam up, Wilson. I only want one thing out of you. Where's that Barton dame that can identify Trigg as the guy that knocked off her brother?
Suppose I told you Anna Barton never saw your gun, boy.
Don't give me that. She opened the door. She talked to the dope.
Even so, suppose I told you Anna Barton wasn't able to give one single solitary clue as to the identity of the man who murdered her brother.
I'd say you're a liar, and I'm going to get the truth out of you. Go on, Hacky. Start marking Wilson up with that monkey wrench.
Well, look at Malone, as I was about to elucidate. One conk with this noggin knocker, and nobody talks for hours. For example, your gun's laying over there on the floor like a salted mackerel.
If you knock Wilson out before he spills where he's got that Barton dame hid, I'll chop you up with this rod.
Go on, Harry. Can't be much worse than Trigg's blackjack.
Oh, look, boss, why don't you tell him where the lady is? By now, Miss Kilpain has got to inspect the Callahan, and Malone has got about as much chance of getting out of this stump as a fly has getting out of a barrel of molasses.
Quit stalling. Quit bluffing. Come on. Start swinging, Hacky.
Go on, Harry.
Wait a minute, Harry.
What? Who's the dame, Wilson?
Lorelei, why didn't you stay out of here?
Sorry, Steve. I thought I'd better come in with that stitch in time to save you boys 9. And try to convince Mr. Malone that Inspector Callahan and his homicide squad are in the process of covering every rat hole in this warehouse.
Don't give me that. Callahan wouldn't have let no dame walk in here alone. Who are you, sister?
Not your sister, thank heavens, and I didn't wait for Inspector Callahan's permission to come in here.
You hadn't ought to done it, Miss Kilburn. This Malone character's got a strictly one-track mind and thinks that gun in his mitt is a magic wand.
And it's going to get me out of here, and this dame is just what the doctor ordered. All right, come on, Kilburn. Unstrap Wilson, and we're going out the back way to a place where he can tell me all about that Barton dame without his pal Callahan busting in.
Hey, what about your gun boy? We gonna leave him here for Callahan?
No. You knocked him out, so you're going to carry him. Go on, Kilburn. Take the straps off of Wilson.
All right. Are you badly hurt, Steve? Can you walk?
Yes, I can manage. Hit the floor when I give the word.
Wait, Steve. Callahan's boys must be outside by now, closing in.
Now get away from him, Kilburn. Now get up and head for the door, Wilson. We're going down in the cellar and come out in the next block.
Knuckles. Well, look who's coming out of the slug I give him. I must be slipping, boss.
Get Trig on his feet, Hecky.
No, wait a minute. Let me take him, Harry. It'll be a pleasure, and he might be useful.
Who slugged me, Knuckles? Who slugged me?
Come on, gun boy, on your feet. Let's go.
Now you're getting smart, Wilson. And when we get where we're going, maybe you'll be smart enough to talk, huh?
No, I think we better have this out right here. Back of me, Lorelei. Dive, Harry.
You tricky slug. Break away, Trig.
I can't, Knuckles.
Get away from in front of him.
I can't.
Knuckles.
He's all yours, Malone.
Oh, give me a piece of him, boss.
No, Trig's out of the play, Harry. Hold Malone while I get the gun out of his hand.
This'll hold him.
Nice swinging, Harry. Thanks very much.
Knuckles, get up, you slug. You got me in the stomach, you rat. No.
What's that Trig character, Steve? He's got a gun in his shoulder holster and he's clawing for it.
Yes, wait a minute, Trig. You need a doctor, not a gun. Thanks very much. I think ballistics will show this is the weapon that killed Mike Barton.
And to pin the crime on this murderous little rat and Malone who hired him to do it, the police won't need the testimony of Mike Barton's blind sister.
Blind? You mean a Barton dame was blind?
That's right. Stone blind.
Blind? She never saw me. That's a laugh, huh? Couldn't have put the finger on me, even if the cops picked me up. Blind, huh?
Yes, Trig. Yours is the common case of the guilty fleeing when none could pursue. And blind justice being on the side of the victims of violence and greed.
So ended, with the subsequent arrest and conviction of Knuckles Malone and his murderous gunsil, another exciting racket-smashing assignment of the newspaper career of Steve Wilson and his staff of the Illustrated Press. Big Town features Edward Pauley as Steve Wilson, Fran Carlin as Lorelei Kilburn, and was written and directed by Jerry McGill. And now, Big Town bids you good night until next Tuesday night, same time, same station, when you'll hear the newsboy calling...
Extra hero all about it. The story of Steve Wilson and Big Town, brought to you by Lifebuoy Health Soap, another fine lever product. Extra.
September 14th, 1948, Big Town on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-772-6113. 800-772-6113. 800-772-6113. That's 800-772-6113.
Now on Classic Radio Theater, another episode of the soap opera Claudia. This episode, September 14th, 1948.
And now, Claudia.
Ladies and gentlemen, what am I bid for this beautiful antique old brass lamp, at least 150 years old, valued at $75? Observe the beautiful lines of the base and the filigreed work around the candelabras. 3 candles.
What a hideous old lamp, Mama.
Come on, Claudia, let's go home.
Oh, we can stay a little while longer. I don't think anybody will buy that lamp, do you?
I won't, so why do we have to stay and watch?
Oh, what's the hurry, Mama?
No hurry, except we've been at this auction sale all afternoon. We haven't bought a thing. There's hardly anything else up for sale, so let's go home.
Just a little while longer. We might miss the best thing in the sale.
Fat chance. I haven't seen anything decent so far. These country auctions.
Never can tell when the goose is going to lay the golden egg.
Who will give me $20? 20? 20? 20! No bid. Who will give me 19? 18? 17? 17?
$7.
$7.
I wouldn't give 2 cents.
Shop, or you'll get it for 2 cents.
8.
$7.50.
$7.50. Who will bid 8? 8. $8.50. Going to the gentleman in the straw hat for $8. Gone.
$8 for that brass lamp. Honestly, how some people throw their money away.
Claudia, are you intending to buy anything at all?
If I see something I like. Oh, let's just stay for the next few articles, Mama, as long as we're here.
I've heard that all afternoon. I'm dead.
Wonder what's up for sale next.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the last item of the day, the grab bucket. 1 large pail filled with miscellaneous articles, each with their own particular value, and sold all at once in this large pail.
I wonder what some of the things are in the pail, Mama.
I don't want to know.
Everything in this pail is of great usefulness and necessary in every household. We do not have the time to itemize each individual article, but I assure you, you will not go wrong.
What do you suppose is in the pail, Mama?
I told you I wasn't interested.
You think people ought to bid on things they don't even know?
I do not.
Still, it's an awfully big pail. Must be full of an awful lot of stuff.
Claudia, get that look out of your eye.
What am I bid for this excellent collection of items? Some over 100 years old, some of contemporary origin. At least 20 items. What am I bid? $5. $5. $5.
I wouldn't bid $5 in sheer ignorance.
That's a relief.
$4. $4. $4. Do I hear a bid? $4.
The pail itself is almost worth the $4, Mama.
You can buy a pail like that for 25 cents at the hardware store.
Oh.
$3. $3. $3. Do I hear a bid for $3? Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot go wrong. The pail itself is worth $3. Do I hear a bid?
You do not.
Come now, ladies and gentlemen, where is your spirit of imagination? Where is your curiosity? What am I bid?
25 cents.
Claudia.
Do I hear a bid of 25 cents? Ladies and gentlemen, come now. Certainly you wouldn't let this excellent collection of miscellaneous items go for 25 cents.
50 cents.
Claudia, you're bidding against yourself.
But he's right, Mommy. He's right.
50 cents, ladies and gentlemen. Am I being bid only 50 cents? 50 cents! 50 cents! Going! Gone! The lady in the red coat for 50 cents.
That's me. I'm wearing a red coat.
And my face matches. Claudia, do you realize what you've done? We've got to cart that thing home.
But, Mama, we're going to find out what's in the bucket.
Curiosity killed a cat.
Satisfaction brought him back.
It doesn't rhyme.
Where's your spirit of adventure, Mama? This country would never have been settled if everybody's forefathers had been like you.
All right, I lose. Go get your bucket and let's go home before you lose your head again.
Ladies and gentlemen, that closes this auction sale. The estate of Mrs. Matilda Higglesworth. The next sale in the old green barn will be Tuesday night at 3 o'clock.
And I won't be here.
Oh, Mr. Auctioneer.
Yeah?
One moment, please. Hey, don't go away.
You're the lady in the red coat.
Yeah, where can I pick up my bucket and give you the 50 cents?
Right here. You got yourself a buy, lady. Here you are.
Thanks. Whoop, it's heavy.
Worth its weight in gold, ma'am.
Mama! Hey, Mama, come here and help me carry this fortune.
Nothing doing. It's all yours.
My own mother. Car's parked across the road. Let's go.
What is in that bucket anyway?
Now you're curious.
I am not. Certainly is heavy. Well, let's go home. David'll be waiting.
I'm sure it's filled with all sorts of wonderful things we've just been dying for. And I know one thing. Anything that weighs as heavy as this bucket must be worth 50 cents. David? David, you home yet? Your hat's on the hall table, so you must be home. Are you home?
Where on earth have you been?
Mama and I have been to an auction sale.
Uh-oh.
You don't have to look like that. I only spent 50 cents.
Only 50 cents. You're slipping.
I know.
What could you buy for only 50 cents?
A whole bucket full of stuff.
A
whole bucket full of junk.
That's a fine way to talk, Mama. You'll hurt its feelings, poor little bucket. Oh, David, I'm so exhausted. Here, you take the bucket.
I will not carry your own loot. Put it down somewhere. Put it down.
Right here in the middle of the living room?
In the middle of it.
Well, all right.
David, we spend all afternoon at an auction, and this is what we come home with.
Oh, consider yourself lucky, Mama. The last auction Claudia went to, she bought a secretary that was too tall for the room.
That afternoon, I found out I was going to have a baby.
Yeah, it's always one thing right after another, isn't it?
Wonder what the one thing after the other will be this time.
Look in the bucket.
I wonder where on earth they collected all these odds and ends.
They are
Look.
from the estate of Mrs. Matilda Higglesworth.
You don't say.
She's dead.
You don't say.
Small wonder.
Will you look? Here is a lovely old drain.
Oh, just
An old
look.
drain. Lovely.
Isn't it
Lovely.
stunning? Wonder what we could use it for.
It's just a drop of drain in the bucket, that's all.
David, if you're going to make a pun for every item I bought, I'll leave. I'm going to throw the whole business out the window.
Go ahead, David. Make a pun.
Now, we'll just set this lovely old drain aside till we find a use for it. See what else we have.
What is this?
Looks like a dog collar.
Some dog.
Look, it practically goes around my waist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see. Some waste. You're not going to run around with a brandy flask hanging from your waist, Mrs. Norton, are you?
Oh, here's some china.
I wonder if it's an antique, Mama.
Antique. It's old, not antique.
6 saucers. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Each
5,
one different.
6. We can use them for ashtrays.
Not on your life, not for my ashes.
They're sort of cute.
10-cent store, cute.
Now, don't be snobbish, Mama. I love the 10-cent store.
And you could have gotten 6 of these saucers at half the price.
Let's see what else we have, shall we?
Now look at the look on her face, Mrs. Brown. As happy as the Midas counting his gold.
Claudia should be a scavenger.
I think she
Will
is.
you look at this stunning old knife?
Oh, isn't that lovely?
I wonder what we could use that for.
I don't know. I haven't any idea, so throw it out.
Here's an apple core.
Well, what do you know?
This is for a good year for apples.
Mm-hmm.
And will you look at this adorable shaving mug?
The whole business is worth 10 cents, you know. You've lost 40 cents on the deal.
Money. Is that all you can think about, Miss Brown?
I'll answer. I hope it's the jack man.
I wouldn't part with any of this for all the money in the world.
Hand me that shaving mug.
And look at the light cord. Just what I need for my closet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hello, Mr. Tucker.
Seen you down to the auction sale this afternoon, Miss Brown.
Oh, you were there, too?
Sure was. You pick up the dangdest things at an auction sale.
We did.
Come in, Mr. Tucker.
When I got home, I found a message from your husband.
Yes, we had some late corn. I thought you might like to have some, Mr. Tucker.
Sure would. Hey, what do you got here?
I bought the grab bucket at the auction sale.
What do you know? That's the fastest way to throw away your money I ever come across. Grab buckets is just for people who like to get rid of their earnings.
Kindly repeat that distinctly, Mr. Tucker.
It's a plot.
Used to buy 'em myself, then I found out that all it was a bunch of useless thingamajigs.
How can you say such a thing, Mr. Tucker? Look at this stunning light cord and this handsome St. Bernard dog collar. Look at the flask on it. I bought it for David for next winter.
Bought it for me, just what I need.
And this drain, and an apple core, and an old knife, and all these beautiful saucers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you sure got rook.
I sure did.
What are you holding there, Mrs. Norton?
Oh, it's just a cracked shaving mug.
Looks like a beer mug.
How would you know?
I wouldn't. I hate beer.
Let me have a look at it.
It's really not much to look at.
What do you know? Just like the shaving mug my pa used to use. That was near 100 years ago.
That'd make this one an antique, then.
No, they don't have any value, darling.
Who cares? Still an antique.
Yep, just like his'n, with a daffodil on one side and a violet on the other. Sure brings back memories. I remember when I was a little tyke, I used to stand watching my pa shave. Then I used his shaving mug till about 10 years ago, till my sister Delilah thought it was better looking as a vase. Women. Rather than have her desecrate its personality, I heaved it out the window, broke it. I wouldn't let my pa's shaving mug be used for a few measly bug flowers.
That's the kind of sentiment I admire, Mr. Tucker.
This here's the kind of shaving mug I admire. I sure have been having a time shaving out of them there tubes and jars. Tain't the same. Nope, tain't the same at all.
Well, Mr. Tucker, you take the mug.
Yes, go on. You take it.
No, wouldn't dream of it.
You'll be doing us a great favor.
Nope, I wouldn't dream of accepting it as a gift. It's against my principles, Miss Brown.
I'd accept it as a gift from you.
Well, she has no principle.
But I'll offer you something for it. I'll offer you, 75 cents.
Oh, I couldn't accept 75 cents. That's much too much.
It's worth it to me, every last penny of it. Wait till I show this mug to Delilah. She'll think it's a ghost.
Ghostly, all right.
Scares silly, it will.
Oh, please take it as a Tucker, as a present, Mr. Tucker.
Well, I'll
as a
take
token of our affection for you, Mr. Tucker.
Yes, I'll take it, but not as a token. 75 cents or you're stuck with it. There you are.
Well?
Here's your money.
Mr. Tucker, here's your mug.
It's your honey, all right.
Mr. Tucker, there's only one favor you'll have to do for me. You have to take the whole bucket for that price, or I'll feel as if I robbed you.
Well, Delilah could use an apple core, I guess. An extra pail's always handy, and it's a deal. I'll take the whole kit and caboodle. It's a deal. I'll take it out to the car before you change your mind.
Here, I'll carry it out for you.
No, I do my own chores. 75 cents, eh? I sure turned a good bargain this afternoon. Them grab buckets is always a buy.
Well, David, now what kind of a businesswoman do you think I am?
When you're alone and helping yourself to a bite at noon, include a bottle of ice-cold Coca-Cola and see how it livens up everyday fare. And if others in the family are at home for the noon meal, see how much they appreciate the idea of lunching refreshed. A case of Coke is only $1, and those 24 bottles provide lunchtime refreshment for many meals.
Have you seen my shaving mug, Mr. King?
Handsome one, isn't it?
It's just like my pa's was, with daffodil and violets. That Mrs. Norton, she's got everything a man wants. I've just been yearning for a shaving mug.
Well, I'm glad you found what you wanted.
So my folks should always find what they want when they can.
Oh, I agree, and I think I know at least 2 more people who found it.
What's on your mind?
Claudia and David. Tomorrow they celebrate their first wedding anniversary, a year of having what they want most.
Each other, hey? Well, it's a mighty good thing to celebrate. Well, I'll be around. So long, Mr. King.
So long, Mr. Tucker, and shave close. Every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir.
Hey, a 50% profit, nothing to sneeze at. September 14th, 1948, Claudia on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please thank this station and support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time you roll around here on your favorite station. Now, if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show. You can hear all of our shows on demand at my webpage, which is classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. We also have a list there of podcast sites that also make our shows available. You can learn more about building a classic radio collection of your own. Find our social media links there. And if you're so inclined, you can buy me a coffee. I don't drink coffee, no. But you can help us acquire additional classic radio collections from collectors. That's where all that money goes that comes in through Buy Me a Coffee. That's at classicradio.stream. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.